that the Niners are so focused on special teams mean about their faith in Trey Lance?
I mean, again, like if they were making these types of moves with all three phases of the game, I would say to myself, they've got faith. They know exactly what they have in Trey Lance. They're going all in. They're taking advantage of this rookie contract. But that's not the message that they're sending. They're sending a message that, hey, special teams needed a major upgrade, but everywhere else, we were pretty good. And yeah, we could create some flexibility, get some cap space, go after some big names. But we're going to sort of hold off on that right now. To me, it's a little bit more of like you look back at the Buffalo Bills and when they started to make big moves, it was after the accuracy for Josh Allen had begun to improve. It was after they knew what they had. And so I wonder if the Niners are going to pursue that type of a strategy where we see after this year or a midseason trade to bring on additional assets to back up Trey Lance.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like for me, if they really believed in Trey Lance, they'd be loading up right now.
Right.
And the fact that they're not, the fact that they makes me feel like they're really hesitant about how good he is and if it's even worth taking the step. Like you see the Chargers taking the step. They know exactly who Justin Herbert is. They've seen 2 seasons of him. They're like, he's a top 5 quarterback. We got to do this. But the Niners are like, well, what if Trey Lance isn't ready? Right? What if we went all in a year before he's ready? I think we're seeing all that right now, and it's too bad because you know what? Should have played the kid last year. Boom! Should have played him last year because then you would have known. You would have known whether it was time or not to go all in.
Yeah, I can see that side of the logic. To me, I'm glad we got to the NFC Championship game. I feel like they were justified in their decision to go with Jimmy Garoppolo, but it does leave us in this pickle right now and not truly understanding. And let me be clear that I believe it's a somewhat reasonable strategy. It's disappointing as a fan. I would prefer that, hey, they've seen him in practices. They know more than I do. I would prefer they send a message that says we are all in on Trey Lance. That's not really the message I'm getting from the organization in interpreting their moves.
I totally agree. But I would just say, though, I've seen him in practice, not as much as they have. But there's a lot to like. I think it's not that he's out there in practice playing poorly. I saw the entire training camp.
Right.
He was very good for a rookie. I think it's the fear of the unknown. It's like, man,
I agree.
We just don't really know. Like, he looks good in practice most of the time, but like, we just don't know. And like, Jimmy was the most known quantity. Even though you know all of his, you know everything about Jimmy.
Yeah.
Trey's like, and you saw with Kyle calling plays for him, he's like, I don't know what works, man. And like, it didn't even, he called two and a half games for Trey Lance. He didn't really figure it out until the final 2 quarters. What was working, what the rhythm was. And I think that's just scary because I feel like it's a win now league. You only get 17 games. It's just the fear of the unknown. And what I would say is, hey, man, you wanted this. You traded for, you knew, you got to embrace it at some point. You got to embrace it. Take the leap of faith. It's a leap of faith, though. It is.
It is a leap of faith. And I feel as if the Chiefs did that going into the second year. They only got 1 look at Patrick Mahomes, but it felt as if they said, you know what? It's time for the kid. Let's go. And it takes some courage to do that. It takes some intestinal fortitude, and you've got to be okay with the idea that maybe you're wrong. But what if failing to go all in this offseason prevents the Niners from taking that next step? What if this is the window to pursue? So to me, it is mildly disappointing as a fan. I understand the conservative approach. I can logically process it, but emotionally, it's disappointing.
Well, I was just doing a show with Vish earlier. He made the point that, like, when the Kansas City Chiefs made the transition from Smith to Mahomes and they traded Smith early in the process, like right away. And that allowed them to sign Sammy Watkins.
Right.
So they made a move. And it wasn't like, oh, we don't really know about our quarterback, so let's just invest on special teams and we'll see what we got at quarterback. No, boom, Sammy Watkins. We believe in our quarterback and we're giving him another freaking weapon so he can't fail. The Niners aren't exactly doing that. I mean, Ray McLeod, great, but like, it just seems like they're not putting their full confidence behind Trey Lance the way the Chiefs did Patrick Mahomes. In 18.
They're not. Do you think that that's as a result of intention with Jimmy staying on the roster, or do you feel that the Niners just overplayed their hand? Do you think that John Lynch was close, that he had some people with interest, legitimate interest, legitimate offers, and he thought, no, I can get a little bit more?
That's what I think happened. Vish is very smart. He's doped it out on the show earlier. He basically said it's most likely that they did have a second-round pick offer on the table before the Watson thing happened.
Right.
Once Watson got cleared, now any team that was interested in Jimmy Garoppolo is interested in him. And
why wouldn't
we're
you
still waiting, right? And so what's crazy is like 2 weeks ago, the Niners thought, well, we got Indianapolis dead. Like they are desperate. But now it's like the Niners didn't anticipate Watson going to maybe Atlanta. And Matt Ryan being in Indianapolis is like, wow, you played yourself. So yes, I think they held on to him too long. If they had look what Indianapolis did. They traded Wentz for whatever they could get before the Watson thing went down.
Yes.
What if they'd waited till after? No one would want Wentz now. No one would want him. So they were smart to just get what they could get. The Niners got greedy, whatever you want to call it, and it's costing them.
I totally agree. That's been my supposition all along, that this is a game of musical chairs and you attempt to get your seat as early as you can.
They were very arrogant. That's like, okay, Jimmy's up next. Jimmy's up next. No, he's not. No, Matt Ryan's up next. Baker Mayfield's up next. Deshaun Watson's up next. You're constantly getting cut in line. So anyway, we got
so many unexpected moves.
We got to keep the show moving. George says people need to calm down about Deshaun Watson. Too much trouble. We have quarterback that has no issues. He's young and cheap in cap space. Yep.
That's my feeling.
The thing about Deshaun Watson, though, is when he doesn't come here and goes to whatever. If it's Atlanta, forget it. But if it's the Saints, they could win the Super Bowl this year. And you're supposed to win the Super Bowl, Niners, now. I'm just saying, that's a good team.
Very true.
Do you trust their ability to develop Trey? Not particularly. I'm open-minded, but I don't trust anyone.
You don't have your eye on Brian Greasy and you think to yourself, first-time coach? Come on. He's got this.
Pizza Diaper says, if what you guys are saying about Trey and the organization is true, it makes more sense for them to hold on to Jimmy and trade him at the draft so they can roll his salary over to next season. Okay. Is that what they're trying to do? Maybe. They're going to go all in next year, guys. Next year. Jimmy Garoppolo picks are for they can trade for someone. Can you guys proofread your, please? Jimmy Garoppolo
picks an editor.
So they can trade for someone great. Jimmy Garoppolo picks are for they can trade for someone great. I can't even begin to tell you what you meant by that. I'm sorry, Joel. I like you though, but I have no idea. Leo says, court of law means nothing anymore. Not guilty. Yes, you are in the court of public opinion, which matters a whole lot more. A whole lot more. Word?
I do think right now in cancel culture, I don't know. I do think that opinions matter. And again, I just don't think
being a felon matters.
Yeah, that's
being a felon matters.
That's very true.
Kidding? That guy got off on all counts. Now he might have to pay some money, but that's a big deal for him. Imagine having 22 felonies. Like it's over. Your whole life over. So yeah, he'll have to deal with being canceled. Team Grant. Oh, Isaiah, thank you so much.